Good morning, YouTubers. Today is March 6th, 2021. It is a gorgeous day here in Merritt, British Columbia. Just enjoying this gorgeous breeze, and it's just nice and warm. Gonna keep the store door open when I open today, like I did all week. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Spring is here. Watch my little video I did. Not everywhere in Canada is cold in March. All right, guys, we're gonna look at the top 5. Let's get the picture here of the mountains here. So beautiful. Top 5 reasons to fix Canada. Someone asked me, Mike, let's discuss reasons how we could fix this country, what we could do. The problem is we're in this enslaved system of media governance that's completely taken over the masses, whether it's with this sickness or whatever you want to call it that's going on. It's been happening way before that, and yeah. So anyways, top 5 reasons. These are my top 5 reasons. If we could get to these reasons, I think we could actually fix what's happening here in Canada. Number 5, stop competing for wealthy investors. We started in 2010, after the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. Canada started to compete for wealthy investors. And that has taken a burden on the locals, and it's taken and created a mass wave of destruction. Yes, a mass wave of destruction, leaving homeowners wealthy on paper, but it caused a major ripple effect. And I'll tie in number 4. So we need to stop, Canada needs to stop competing for wealthy investors. Ever since 1993, when Canada closed immigration from Europe, it's been very changing. Back in the day, the Europeans would come in with 2 nickels to rub together, work, pay off a house in a couple of years at minimum wage, and raise a family, send their kids to school, buy a cottage, buy a third, second car, and live a decent life. But ever since then, we're going to get into the other numbers. So stop competing for wealthy investors. Number 4, we need to pursue the money laundering. So if we want to fix the problems going forward, we need to go into the last 10 years and actually continue pursuing the money laundering. So the investigation that we did have was called off. We had a major money laundering investigation that we were following here in Canada. And after a couple of months, the numbers were just baffling, what we saw. So we need to get an independent auditor, an independent body in there that's not affiliated with the federal government, to go in and actually start auditing, just like Australia did with the Royal Commission, where they scratched the surface of what the banks did, and a lot of people freaked out. And they just scratched the surface of what the banks were doing to people. Yeah, so we need to, so there is an estimated $940 billion laundered through Canadian real estate, either shadow flipped, and that's what's basically destroyed. So we need to pursue money laundering investigation. $940 billion now is estimated since 2010. Okay, we need to raise interest rates. That's what we did before in the back in the day, people. We used to raise interest rates. Raising interest rates, I think, is very important. I think it's the key. It is the key to basically creating a more healthy and attractive economy. But if you raise interest rates when our economy is our GDP is 85 percentage of points of it is dependent on housing, how do you do that? You can't. Well, you have to. Here's the thing. We raise interest rates, let's say 6, 7, 8%, then 10 years will suffer, and then the following after 10 years, our children will be free. I have people watching this channel that were watching this channel when they were 16 and 17 and laughing at me at the housing prices, and I read a lot of their comments. I went back to videos from like 8, 9, 10 years ago, laughing at me, saying basically, haha, what are you talking about? I'm 17 now. When I'm 27, I have nothing to worry about. Well, this is 2022. This is 10 years later. Guess what, people? These people are messaging me now, and they're 27, and their parents are either selling their house or moving or buying an apartment and retiring, and they have nowhere to go. They thought things will get fixed. Nothing got fixed. So here it is. We need to raise interest rates, because once you do that, you're going to have anywhere from 7 to 10 years of suffrage, where people will suffer for 10 years once you raise rates. It happens. But that's how you fix an economy and bring it down to earth with these inflated bubbles. Number 2, create a proper institution of government, cut ties with the Queen, free up our crown land. Canada is an idea. Canada was put forward as an idea, right? When the Portuguese Empire fell in 1974, what happened was 1976, 77. What happened was the British, the French, they all went in there and intervened and said, "Oh, you can't have a Portuguese insignia on your flag. You can't have this. You can't do that. You can't mention anything. You have to change your language from Portuguese to something else. You can't do that. You can't do this. The Portuguese can't have any regime or any this, that, this, that, this, that." And the Portuguese were the ones that spent money in Africa and actually built cities and actually lived with everybody else. And for 500 years, not 100 years like the English and French did. So I'm kind of surprised that the British went and instilled all these rules in favor of themselves throughout their colonies in Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, and the UK are suffering from it. All right, number one. So number two would be create a proper institution of government and cut ties with the Queen of England. The government needs to be approved by the Queen of England when she has to allow an election in Canada. I don't even know how it works because none of it makes sense. It's just all over the place. So you think you're free in Canada? Think again. Okay, number one, let independent media thrive. Stop bailing out mainstream media. That's the key right there, the cancer. The biggest cancer that Canada's suffering with right now today is independent, is mainstream, bailed out, wavy gravy dinosaur media. That's the problem. We need to get rid of that and start actually letting reporters and journalists that actually went to school to understand, stop inflating these imaginary problems so that people don't get the advice and the information they need, right? And now that everyone's focused on this sickness, a lot of people are complaining. No one's complaining anymore about the housing prices. So you see how everything kind of fits like a glove when it basically suits your agenda. And that's what's been happening. Mainstream media, they want to pass a bill. If they pass Bill C-10, you will no longer be seeing me on YouTube anymore because the Canadian federal government will shut down anyone broadcasting in Canada. It's got to be the dinosaur, mainstream, wavy, gravy media. So let me know what you guys think about those top 5 ways to fix the country. If this all applies to Australia. Australia was competing for wealthy investors. Same thing with money laundering and shadow flipping. Look at Westpac, the bank Westpac in Australia. They got 21 million different what do you call it? Infractions of money laundering. 21 million different infractions were caught. So that right there gives you a little bit of an idea of where things are headed across the Commonwealth. English-speaking countries are all suffering from the same thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The Europeans came here and built these countries. Well, I know my dad and a lot of people built these countries, and now they're basically being shown the door and asking to leave. And if you can't afford to live here, get lost, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching. And we'll talk soon. I have spoken.